Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast, where heart centered entrepreneurs, visionaries, and the everyday heroes in your backyard are helping the world break free to live life more purposefully, one story at a time. I am Seema Giri, your host, an award winning author, entrepreneur, and holistic lifestyle strategist. Today's show is sponsored by Uplift Media. For strategies on how to break free to your brilliance and get your free gift, 10 Ways to Live a Dynamic Life, visit seemagiri.com. Today our special guest is Sharon Caren. She is a spiritual intuitive coach and author. And today we'll be talking about raise your frequency, change your life. Hello everyone and welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast. It is so wonderful to have you here yet again for another episode where we share transformation stories, changing the world one story at a time. And today we have a very special guest, Sharon Caren. She is a co-author from the Break Free to Peace, Love, and Unity book that I have just compiled recently and has reached the #1 international best-selling status on Amazon. I wanted to introduce to you our magnificent guest, Sharon Caren. After traumatic events and a near-death experience, Sharon became more aware of the spiritual world and the benefits of working within it. Her whole life changed, and she spent her life exploring and mastering many forms of energy work and healing. Her work with the Akashic field is her passion and purpose to guide clients to experience a life they love living. She clears blockages and opens new doors together with her clients. To dive in deep, to dive in depth with her clients and explore their purpose discovered through their reading, she offers coaching program options. Together, Sharon and her clients create a step by step map to find their path to a more fulfilled life every day. Anyone can learn to access Akashic records. Sharon also loves to teach others to access the Akashic records themselves with her training program, and she can't wait to work with you. Welcome, Sharon. Welcome to our podcast. It's so wonderful to have you here today.
Seema, thank you so much for having me. This has been quite a wonderful experience for me.
Amazing, wonderful. Well, before we get started with this exciting interview, let's just do a quick guiding meditation and get ourselves present. So, if you could close your eyes and take a few deep cleansing breaths and exhale anything that you may have it has been bothering you. You're rushing to get to your next appointment. Just let all of that go. Taking a deep breath of peace and of being present, and exhale and release. I believe that we are all here together for a reason. We didn't stumble across this episode or joining us here today live because there's something that has brought us together here. There's something that you need to hear from us, and there's something that we need to share with you today. So just exhale in and exhale. There were so many things you had to do to before this time together here. Just let all of that go. And there's so many appointments after this episode that you would need to tend to get to. There's tasks that's in your mind that you have to complete. Just exhale and let go of all of that. I promise you, they'll all will be waiting for you right after this. But let's bring your attention to your mind, to the present. Feel into the seat that you're sitting in. Become aware of your heart. Bring your awareness to your heart and think of a happy moment. It could be something today, yesterday, any time during your life. And experience that same joy and bliss you experienced at that first time. Think of the smell that was in the air, the people that were with you, taste of the food or snacks you were having at that time or drink. Just relive the same bliss again. And now that you're connected to your heart, think of what is it that you might need to open yourself up to receiving today. You might have a feeling, you might know what it is, and you might not. I invite you to open yourself to the possibilities of what can be. Sometimes it's after hearing the conversation that we realize, oh, that is what I needed to hear today. And invite our guests to also feel and see what may be needed to for her to express today and for me to express today and share with you. Through our stories, through our experiences, we can share wisdom and tips that can help one another. Take another deep breath. Feel yourself 100% present right here, right now, and open your eyes. Sharon, what did you feel into your heart as we were doing that grounding meditation?
I love that, Seema. That's one of my favorite things to do. And what I felt that was so sweet, I felt my heart open really big. And it took me back this morning when my husband Dave gave me a great big kiss this morning. And
Mm.
as my heart opened, I felt our lips together.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That connection is the key thing, isn't it? It's what we as humans really long for. And that was one of the key things about Break Free to Peace, Love, and Unity. And congratulations, by the way. You're one of the co authors in Break Free to Peace, Love, and Unity, and you are now a number one international best selling author.
It's pinch me. It's like really so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Have you been able to really allow that to sink in and feel into that?
I don't think so. I think I'm still kind of, floating in that energy. And however, it's becoming more of a reality because people are emailing me and they're congratulating me. And so I think it's going to take a little while. It's like when we have a shock or traumatic shock, like it takes a little while for the body, for everything to balance and come back together. And I think I'm kind of still in that place.
Well, you certainly have a wonderful glow and brightness about you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have you to thank
Oh,
for
it was
bringing me
such a
into this.
pleasure. It was such a pleasure. It was such an honor to work with you, Sharon, on this project and really bring forth the wonderful talents and wisdom that you have. What inspires you to be part of this Break Free anthology?
About 2 years ago, I was at a pilgrimage and I got a download of information.
Mm.
And I got the title, which is actually the title of my chapter. And with COVID, rebuilding my business and doing all of that, I hadn't had time to write a book. And of course now, working to get to get my business totally together. So it's just been, that's where I was. But when you said, well, you just need to write a chapter. And I thought, oh, a chapter. I could do it. I could do a chapter. Like I don't have any much more time than that. And I have to tell you, Seema, it was one of the best things that I've ever done. And I thank you for the opportunity to write my chapter.
And sometimes people think that you have to go and do a whole solo book, but this is a great stepping stone to getting your feet wet and understanding that. Now, you said this is one of the best things that you've ever done. What makes you say so?
The process, going through the steps with you, thank goodness you were there to guide us. And because I didn't have any idea of what it was going to be like or look like. But you said, just write your story. I'm going, oh, my story. I never really sat down and thought about it.
Mm.
But when I did, I would get up early in the morning and I would start writing, and it was really like automatic writing. And actually went back to the time when I was a very young, a little girl. And I hadn't ever really wrote it all down like that.
Oh,
How I went from, child and to adolescence and to, the next thing and the next thing. And that was amazing. It was an amazing healing for me, on top of getting to write about what I love, of course, my purpose, my soul purpose. So it was just kind of everything wrapped into one. And that, I believe, is why. That's why I tell everybody, if you think you want to write something, then you have a story and you need to write it and tell it, because it's transformational.
I totally agree with you on that. Now, for our listeners, you said terminology that maybe not all of our listeners may understand that. Can you define for us what is automatic writing?
Automatic writing is where we it's not mental, it's not in the brain. It's actually our connection with the infinite nature, the infinite side of ourselves, which is our soul. And that happens through the heart space. So it's just having a clear mind and just writing what flows, what comes next, without overthinking it or thinking about it, just letting it flow.
Just letting it flow. And that's how I recommend it too. You can do the editing and stuff later, but like you said, it really becomes a download. It's been my personal experience, and you're saying it also, and so many other authors have said it becomes like almost a spiritual connection
Totally.
to yourself that you may not even have ever allowed yourself to get into. But somehow when you're writing your story, it kind of leads you there automatically. You don't even have to think about it.
I agree. I agree. I wouldn't have believed that it would have been like that for me. I started to stress about it, but see, that's the mental body, and that's not
Right.
going to be helpful. That's that heart and soul connection that takes us there.
So I'm wondering, let's explore this a little bit, Sharon. I'm wondering, is it that you get connected to your higher self, your spiritual self, or is it that you, as you're writing your story, you're actually now really believing that you have a story? So many people I've talked to have said, Seema, you have a wonderful idea. The title is great. The book idea is great, but you're talking to the wrong person because I don't have a story. So many women believe that they don't have a story or their story isn't important enough to share. So do you think it's that when, as you're writing, you're starting to believe that you have a story, or you think it's a combination, or it's just a spiritual connection?
I think it's all of that.
Okay.
I think it's all of that. And probably everybody, may have a different process or the way that they feel about it. That's why I believe it's so transformational, because I believe it has to come from that deepest all knowing part of ourselves, which is our heart soul connection. Oh, the heart is the seat of the soul. And that connection is, we are connected to the infinite, the universe, the all that is, when we sit down and do that. And so I think maybe it's conscious for some people, and maybe that it's subconscious that they're doing that. And so I think probably everybody may have a little bit of a different thing to say about that. But I can tell you it was all of those things for me.
Interesting. That's amazing. And I think that's so beautiful. You get really more deeply connected with yourself too. Now this has all led up to everyone wanting to know, what is the name of your chapter?
It was the one that was downloaded to me 2 years ago. Raise your frequency and change your life.
Raise your frequency and change your life.
Yeah.
And what is the message that you're trying to get across to everyone?
Everything is energy, and energy gives us life. And our energetic frequency has everything to do about how we feel and where we are in our life. The healthier we are, the higher frequency we have. If we're feeling expansive, that's the love energy. When we're feeling contractive, that's the fear energy. And that's where our actual physical body health comes from. Well, it actually comes from the chakras in the etheric body that's connected with our physical body's nervous system. So if we want to have great health and connection and all of that, that is all about our raising our energetic frequency.
And when you're talking about raising your energetic frequency, does it take a really long time and you have to work on it months at a time to raise it, or is it a fairly quick process?
Well, I like to share what I do, and that's the notice what you're noticing.
Hmm.
We have an emotional body as well. So we have the spiritual body, the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. And all of those bodies are connected, and they all do play a different part. Of course, our power comes from the spiritual body, and that's why we want that body in the driver's seat. What I tell all of my clients is just notice what you're noticing. We have an emotional body, and the emotional body is what tells us how we feel. So it only takes a moment. We can really get clear about if we're feeling happy and full of love, that high frequency, or if we're feeling really contracted and our energy is really low and we're worried or have anxiety. That's the energy that keeps us either playing small, creates illnesses, injuries, all of those things that we create here in a physical body. So it can be that quick when we just have conscious awareness. Be aware of how you're feeling, expansive or contractive.
Mm.
And then of course there are more expansive ways, and we do that through the chakras, working with our 7 chakras and getting in touch with that energy. And that's what really starts bringing the energy frequency up.
So, Sharon, how can this help people who are going through uh, this difficult time of the pandemic?
It's it is a really tough time, I think, for so many people. And I'm just blessed that I have my work, because that's what keeps me connected in a much higher frequency. What I would say is to, again, notice what you're noticing. If there's anxiety and fear, if we're in fear, then that's going to be a low frequency.
Hmm.
And there's no possibilities from that low frequency. So if we can just stop, if we're feeling fearful, breathe like we did in the beginning when we went through that meditation that was so lovely. We fill up with our breath, breathing into the heart, breathing into the root chakra, feeling connected with the Mother Earth, Gaia, all of that. And then people, I believe, are having a difficult time because they feel disconnected. And that disconnection takes away our life, because humans, we're social beings, and we love to commune and be together. And when we separate ourselves from ourselves, perhaps, and from other people, that is a very, very low frequency and a very sad place to be.
Mm.
It's just remembering that we're connected to everything, and we have love energy for each other, and just getting out and or getting on Zoom and being with other people.
Yes, I think this is the next best thing. to being connected and remaining connected. It's not enough, but for now, I think that is the next best thing.
Absolutely.
Sharon, how did you get into becoming a spiritual coach? What prompted you to do that?
Well, back about 21 years ago, my mother passed. And at that time, I could feel her really heavy around me. And I had met a woman that did this work. But I hadn't had a reading with her, so I called her right away. I said, I think something's wrong. I can feel my mother heavy around me. I wasn't there when she passed, and something's not right. And she did my Akashic reading. And I had more affirmations than I've ever had in my life. I'd done a lot of exploring before that time, and I knew none of the other was really my work. But that when she told me that my mother was earthbound because she was afraid to die, I knew that was absolutely the truth.
Mm.
And then she told me like all the things about me and my soul that were affirmations because I already knew that. And that's really what changed my life at that particular time. And I knew that that was my passion. And it's a wonderful system. It's learnable, it's teachable, and it's the most amazing gift that I've ever had, and that I love to give to others.
Can you tell us what exactly is Akashic Records?
Well, it's taken from the Sanskrit word, which is akasha, which means etheric or up in the clouds, or heaven, up in the sky. Basically, that's what it means. But Akashic record is the record. Every single thing, and every person and everything has a record from the beginning of that thing, like when our soul sparked. So the Akashic record is past, present, and future. It's all of the information about our soul and who we are. Past, which is history; present, which is what's happening right now with us; and then future is all the possibilities. All of that information is around in our aura. And then that is what we open up and can read. So that gives us lots of really wonderful information to live by.
Okay, well, that's interesting. It sounds like a spiritual cloud-based database that has a record on all of us, but with the additional feature of maybe having like a crystal ball that can see the future.
Well, the future, I tell people I'm not a mind reader. I don't read crystal balls, because and what I do is empower people, because if you didn't do another thing or learn anything, maybe someone could predict. But we can have a different thought any day and change, just like when I did this book with you. That was something that I didn't know that was there.
Mhm.
So, yes, and actually, it's the World Wide Web for souls.
That's a great way of putting that.
Exactly. Yes. And it's,
World Wide Web for the soul.
yes.
Wow. That that really takes things at a different level. How may one use the Akashic records?
The way, basically, it's to really step into our power. We are luminous light beings in the non-physical. And that's who we are. We're powerful, we're connected to everything, and we have all the answers. We come in a physical body, and then we kind of forget that. And we have to forget that so we can be in the present moment. However, that information that is who we are tells us our soul personality, that would be our soul group, and then our archangel realms of training, that would be the soul college. So we have a primary realm and a secondary realm. So we come in with these gifts that we have, that we're bringing to the world at this crucial time. That's why being able to tell our stories and uplift others with our power, and that the really getting to know who we are, it's like taking a snapshot of who we are on the soul level, and then we can live powerfully from that energy when our heart is connected to the soul.
Wow, that is so interesting. And I could talk hours on this topic. It's so interesting, and there's just every time you answer something, it just leads me to go even deeper to another one. So I think we'll have to do another session for that.
Okay, thank you.
What is that one tip that you can give to our listeners today that they can start implementing right away?
I believe it's the conscious awareness of knowing, noticing what you're noticing, and really having that up front. Notice what you're noticing. If you're feeling expansive or you're feeling contractive, we can turn that on a dime, and we don't have to have anything with us. We just have to have our noticer, and our noticer, by the way, is our soul.
Mm.
That's the one that does the noticing.
Can you tell us what would be some feelings of expansion and some feelings of contractedness?
Yes, like when I tell my clients, I have my clients write a vision, and so it's like, what what would you love? It's what would you love? When I say that, even in a question, what would you love? I feel expansive. And so then if you were to say, what would I love? Go ahead and say, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love?
What would I love? What would I love? What would I love?
How do you feel?
I feel more open. My heart feels, I can feel myself moving, uh, opening my heart chest area and feeling more energetic.
Yes, that's expansive. Now, I don't know if those words would work for everyone, but they certainly work for me because that is the love energy, the expansive energy, or laughing, having fun, just like little kids, curious. They laugh like a minimum of 100 times a day. As adults, we don't even laugh sometimes an average of 20 times.
I was going to say once.
Yeah, or maybe not at all.
Yes.
So it's whatever, if it's joy, whatever joy energy, whatever, watching a comedy, anything that brings us joy, anything we could sit and do for 30 minutes a day that would be fun. What's fun for you?
Mhm.
So it can be any of those things. It doesn't have to be one, but just asking yourself, what would I love? Saying that and being open to the infinite possibilities is really expansive. So that's what I would recommend, is more fun in our lives. The Japanese they have laughing practice, that belly laughing.
Mm.
That's lovely. So there's many of those ways. The easy way is kind of noticing.
So contractedness would be maybe sad, anger, just being unhappy, frustrated, those kind of things. And if you're noticing that,
Yeah. Depression, anxiety,
mhm,
um, not wanting to get up in the morning, um, being feeling anger if we're with the people around us. There's only one thing that's ever going on. It's the infinite intelligence. And I believe in that. And I know there's good here. There's always good here. We just have to be open to deciding. We can put a decision on anything. It may look really bad, but we don't have to put that bad on whatever happens. We can say, I may not know why this is happening right now, but I know that there's infinite intelligence and there's only good here. So being open to the possibilities again.
And then if you change that to the love energy you were saying, of some, just maybe change the words from sad to happy, or think of a moment when you did have a happy experience to bring that feeling back. You can change those things almost instantly by changing the words to your feelings or remembering a good time at some point in life, and that changes your frequency.
Totally. It totally does. It's something as quick as that. It's just changing the way we're thinking about it.
Mhm.
If you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. That's a low contraction. If you think there's infinite possibilities, that's going to be a higher frequency. And then, of course, like I said, working with the chakras and have them spinning 100%, that really raises our energetic frequency. And all of that is part of our soul's evolution. And that's what we're here to do.
I think that gives a really good insight to our listeners to differentiate the two and be able to switch over to change what they're feeling at that moment.
Mhm.
Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been very enlightening for me. I'm sure it is for our listeners as well. Do you have a free gift for our listeners?
I do. I actually have an online uh, pendulum course. And for anybody that gets in touch with me, I would be really happy to gift that to you. And and the reason about the pendulum is because that's how we get in touch with our intuition. So if you go to my website, www.sharoncaren.com, it says, go under courses, go to pendulum course. And you just need to contact me first, either through the website, Sharon at sharoncaren.com is also my email, or 650-922-7951. You can call me. I'll give you the password, and then you don't have to pay for the course. And there's a downloadable sheet, which is also a worksheet for the pendulum. And I love to share the pendulum. So I would love to give that to you if you would love that.
Thank you so much for the wonderful gift. I know I have gone through that course myself, and it is amazing. Make sure to contact Sharon and get that wonderful free gift. It gives you a wonderful insight into the spiritual world, and you can expand your knowledge on that a bit more over there. But Sharon, again, thank you so much for being here today.
Seema, thank you so much for having me and taking the time, and also for helping me grow and transform, because I'm just happy to be part of our amazing book.
It was wonderful working with you, Sharon. I'm so glad we had this opportunity. Again, it was an honor for me as well, and a really growing experience for me as well. This was wonderful. I think mutually beneficial project that we worked on together. So,
Yeah.
listeners, until next time, we'll be back with some more of our wonderful co authors in Break Free to Peace, Love, and Unity book that has now become a #1 international best selling book. So, if you would like to get a copy and read Sharon's chapter, it is available on Amazon.com in Kindle version and the print version as well. So, until next time, this is Seema Giri.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this interview. I hope you've gained some insights and or tips that you can implement right away. For more interviews like this, please visit us at seemagiri.com or visit our YouTube channel, Break Free to Brilliance with Seema Giri. Until next time, have a great day.